Hello, fifth graders. So the last few topics we've been dealing with multiplication. We've learned how to multiply multi-digit whole numbers, and we've also learned how to multiply decimals as well. Now we're going to transition into division, which goes hand in hand with multiplication. That's why it's so important that you know your multiplication facts, because you need to know your division facts as well, because they go hand in hand. So to start this topic, before we even go into division, we're just going to review how to multiply numbers. Now, not specifically every number, but a lot of numbers that have zeros at the end. Remember, you can just multiply the two numbers that you see and then just tack on those zeros at the end. So for example, if we look at 30 times 8,000, all we want to find is the basic fact or the easy multiplication problem in that. We don't want to set it up like 8,000 times 30 and have to go through the whole entire process, add all those zeros, add placeholders, get the partial products, add them all together. We don't need to set it up like this, okay? Instead, we can just find the basic fact or the easy multiplication problem and just add the zeros that are left over and add them to our product at the end. So our basic fact in 30 times 8,000 is what? So it's 3 times 8, which is 24. And then there are 3 zeros in 8,000 and 1 zero in 30. So that's 4 total zeros. So we just tack those on to the end. The next problem, 400 times 40. Do that right now. What do you get for 400 times 40? Well, 4 times 4 is 16. And then there's 3 total zeros. Okay. And 2 times 7 is 14 for the last one with 4 total zeros at the end. Okay, and again, we're multiplying, so we add the zeros together because we're getting a greater number. And so we add those total zeros and bring them to the end, okay? Now, the next 3 problems you see are just standard division facts, okay? I'm getting you a little warmed up before we start because it's really important to know your division facts. So do those 3 facts right now. What is 36 divided by 4, 45 divided by 9, and 18 divided by 2? Well, 36 divided by 4 is 9, and I know 9 times 4 is 36, okay? 45 divided by 9 is 5, 9 times 5 is 45, and lastly, 18 divided by 2 is 9, and to check, 9 times 2 is 18. Again, you can check your division by doing the inverse, which is multiplication, and to see if you have it correct. All right, so now let's look at these last 2 problems. How would you solve these problems? They look very similar to these problems up here, okay? They look similar because I see a fact and I see a bunch of zeros. But the process of how we do this is a little bit different, okay? So the fact that I see in 35,000 divided by 70, what basic fact do you see? I see 35 divided by 7. So I can solve that fact. 35 divided by 7 is 5. And now, this is where it gets a little different than what we did up here, okay? Because we're dividing, meaning that our quotient or the answer to our division problem is going to be smaller or less than what we started with, okay? So we're not adding the zeros together and adding them to our answer. We're actually doing what? We're actually subtracting the zeros. So I have 3 total zeros in this number and 1 in this number. So I'm going to cross out the zeros that I have in common, which is me subtracting it. So now I have 2 zeros left over. So those are the 2 zeros that I'm going to add to my answer. And again, I can double check by doing multiplication, by doing 70 times 500 and seeing if I get 35,000. Is 70 times 500 35,000? Yes, it is. I know I'm correct. Okay, let's look at the next one. 8,100 divided by 900. What is my basic fact in this problem? It's 81 divided by 9. So 81 divided by 9 is 9. And again, I'm going to subtract my zeros. So the way that I subtract it is I cancel out the zeros they have in common. So 1 0 here, 1 0 here, they cancel out. 1 0 here, 1 0 here, they cancel out. So do I have any extra zeros left over? No. So my answer is 9. And again, I can double check by multiplying 9 times 900 Do I get 8,100? Yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to do a few more problems to practice. Okay, so we're going to try some on our own. So right now, 72,000 divided by 800. In your notes, solve that. What is 72,000 divided by 800? Well, again, my basic fact is 72 divided by 8. 72 divided by 8, I know 8 times 9 is 72. And then I'm going to cancel out the zeros they have in common or subtract the zeros they have in common. So 1 0 they have in common, another 0 they have in common. I don't have anything else, so I only add the 1 0 left over. And I want you to get into the habit of checking your division using multiplication. So I can check by doing 800 times 90. Do I get 72,000? Yes, I do. Okay, the next one. It looks a little different because it looks like it's 6 divided by 12. Well, is that really a basic fact that we know? No, it's not 6 divided by 12. It's actually 60 divided by 12. So what I would suggest is to box it off so you don't accidentally cross out that 0 from the 60. So 60 divided by 12. Think, what is 12 times what gives you 60? 12 times 5. And then we're going to cross out the zeros they have in common or subtract them. 1 0 in common, nothing else to cross off, so that 1 0 goes to the 50. And I can check my work by multiplying. Again, 12 times 50, or 120, I'm sorry, times 50 equals 6,000. And it does.